Okay, we're going to get started. Thank you all for being here tonight. My name is Amy Fospanchak. I am the Director of Curriculum and Instruction for the East Troy Community School District. This is Justin Modrak. He is the Director of Technology for the district. So we have some goals for this evening that we're going to cover in the next 20 or 30 minutes. So first we would like to describe technology integration. It's a term that you're going to hear a lot about. We want to talk about how technology integration affects both teaching and learning. We want to share the district's plan for technology integration. We're going to discuss the devices that are going to be utilized as part of that plan. And we're going to share information regarding the logistics of the plan. So what is technology integration? It is a way to enhance teaching and learning. It is a tool that is used to enhance the curriculum. So the curriculum drives the technology tools that are used, not vice versa. The tools that we're talking about, technology is going to allow us to access up-to-date information and research. It's going to allow us to collect and record data, both students and teachers. We're going to encourage collaboration among students, foster global connections. It allows for immediate feedback regarding learning, and it allows us to increase student engagement. Oftentimes, our students tell us through our surveys that they are bored and not engaged in class, so we're going to hopefully use this as a tool to increase that engagement. So what kind of technology integration is already happening? We have a video we'd like to share about technology integration in East Troy right now.
In kindergarten, we use a lot of the iPads and the tablets to promote some of the social engagement with children and allowing them to learn to take turns and to share with each other, things like that. So it has really allowed us to spend some time in an open workstation type time or at literacy block in math stations to differentiate neat skills of where they're at, and then really just promote their learning and give them a chance to work and play together as a team.
On our iPads, I like to read books in the book section, like Green Eggs and Ham, Wizard of Oz, and other stuff like that. Some games you can spell sight words out for indoor recess, and so other stuff like that. We learn our social studies on Smartboard, and we use our workbook pages on our Smartboard, and we use our games on our Smartboard.
So that's because we have two tablets, 2 iPads, that'll change.
We have
2 reading and 2 math. If you're a leopard, make a choice. Oh, I'm sorry, leopards. If
Okay, now wait a minute though. Is this one part of how long it is?
Aside from the robotics classroom within my own class, technology has allowed me not only to help students within the classroom, but to reach with students with outside the classroom. For students that are on vacation, that are gone, who are absent, who need additional help, by including videos online, by giving them instruction and things to work on through the use of our smart boards. Kids can access all the information they need from our classroom at their own homes.
Our freshman English classes are currently putting together e-portfolios that we're hoping that they can use throughout their high school career. So on it, they'll put different things that they've done in freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, and senior year, and then kind of reflect on it and set goals for each of the following years. This is also a way that teachers can look at what they have accomplished the prior year and see kind of where they need to be so that they can help them grow as students. This is something that the students can use after they leave high school as an entrance essay, kind of for colleges or for careers. It's something that they should be able to show people outside of the school as they leave, and that's something that's really important in the English department at this time.
Me, Dan Barr, and Brad Arkin, we decided to take on the task of making a video game using what's called the Unreal Engine. And we were given this opportunity by Mr. Logan, and he said, all right, I'd like to see what you've made at the end of the semester. So we spent hours and hours, like inside class, outside the class. I think we estimated we combined like 500 hours into making this. And at the end, what we realized it was a lot harder than we had thought to make this. There was a lot of little ins and outs that we didn't really get to. Even like the core we wanted to do, we finished mapping the school, but that was it. We realized that there's a reason that there are companies that hire hundreds of people that get credit for making these games because of how difficult it is. So it kind of gave us a realistic perspective on how difficult it is to actually do something like that. So I guess getting the opportunity in school this early on gives you the rare opportunity that I guess you can see into what you potentially want to do if you like it or not. Because we realize that if it's one of those things where if you like it, go for it. But there's a reason that you have to really love it to want to do it.
We like being part of Geek Squad because it lets us learn new technology skills and we get to help the community.
My favorite part of Geek Squad is Ask a Geek, which we do every first Saturday of the month, and we can help different community members with their tech problems. Ah.
So that video was put together by some of our high school students, and it illustrates how technology is currently being used in our district, and it really paints a picture of how we initially begin with fundamentals and then the rigor increases. So you heard the elementary students talking about using technology to practice their sight words, and then at the middle school they are beginning robotics, and you heard Mr. Lilla talk about how it serves as a communication tool for inside and outside of the classroom. And then as we get to the high school, they're creating portfolios, they're programming, they're making video games, and the last student that spoke talked about how it let him explore what he wanted to do if he really wanted to do it. And that's our goal, is authentic learning that allows students to prepare for college and career. So those were some examples of how we're currently using technology. As we increase the technology devices that are available, these things are going to happen. We're going to have timely and specific student feedback. We know in learning that students grow when they receive feedback. And the more timely, the better. So this is a tool that will allow us to provide that timely feedback. It's going to allow students acceleration and intervention. In East Troy, we talk a lot about personalized learning. We talk a lot about ensuring a year plus of growth for every student every year. However, teachers are in classrooms with a lot of children in front of them that have various needs, and they're at various points. So technology is going to allow us to open that up and cater to those students' needs. Personalized and differentiated learning, increased access to information. We know that information is always changing. The minute we buy a textbook, there's a new version available. So we're thinking of that all the time and opening up newest information to students, and then allowing the students multiple ways to demonstrate their learning. There's more than one way to share what you have learned, and so technology will allow them with greater opportunities to have variety. So how did we come to this plan? The district had a library, media, and technology committee that had representation from each building and level. And that committee has met for a good number of years. One whole entire year was spent interviewing and visiting area districts that have already implemented technology integration. The goal was for us to learn as much as we could about the strategies that teachers used, what devices worked, what policies needed to be in place, all of those kinds of things. And our real goal was to learn from mistakes. It's uncharted territory. There are people that have tried it before us, and so we met with those people and talked to them and tried to get as much information so that we could learn from the experiences they already had. As a result of that study, we recognized the need to move forward with technology integration. So the plan that was presented was to start in 4K. So 4K through 2nd grade will be a 2-to-1 learning environment, 2 students per device. And the device we have chosen is a tablet. In 3rd grade, it's going to start with a 1-to-1 environment. So 3rd through 12th grade will be 1-to-1 environment, 1 student per device. And the device that has been chosen is a Chromebook. Now our elementary students, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, will have 1-to-1, but they will not be bringing those devices home. They will simply be a tool that's used in the classroom, much like the textbook is. Starting in 6th grade, students will have the opportunity to bring this tool home. So they will be transporting the tool between home and school.
So we're going to be rolling out a couple different types of devices. The tablet we chose is the Samsung Galaxy Tab 4. It's an education-specific model. We chose the Samsung Galaxy because it was at a good price point. It runs Android, so it integrates really well with Google services, which we use extensively in district. We use Gmail for staff and students. A lot of faculty and students use Google Drive for creating documents and completing assignments. And also with the educational version of the Samsung Galaxy, there is a structure in place that allows teachers to purchase apps and push them out to their classroom set of tablets very easily. Where with other tablet models, you have to be going through tablet to tablet. It's very time consuming. This makes it very easy for them to kind of explore, try new apps, and it's not going to take their whole afternoon to get it loaded on their classroom set. It'll take 5 minutes, 10 minutes. The second type of device is the Chromebook. We're going to have Acer C720 Chromebooks at elementary level, and we're going to have the new Dell 11 Chromebook at the middle school, high school level. That Dell model is, it's the newest model, it was just released in March. We chose the Chromebook because it's a very fast device. There's a lot of concern from teachers. They wanted to utilize classroom time for teaching. They didn't want the kids to be booting up their device and logging in and having 5-10 minutes go by at the beginning and end of class. So the Chromebooks will start up in about 10 seconds. The device will be off, powers up, you can log in and start working within about 10 seconds. So it's really fast. It's not an ordeal to bring them out and have the students use them for quick tasks. The Chromebooks are also very secure. A traditional laptop will, it's susceptible to viruses and malware and slowdowns over time. A lot of times you have to reinstall the operating system, something like that. So they're kind of maintenance intensive. The Chromebooks are not like that. They're built on a secure platform. Most of it is web-based. They're not going to get viruses, malware. They're not going to slow down over time. So you're going to have that fast boot up, that fast operation for the life of the device. Another huge factor in choosing Chromebooks was the battery life. The battery life on the models we chose is 8.5 to 9 hours. So it's a battery that's going to last all day, where your typical laptop or other device is going to be 4 or 5 hours, which doesn't quite cut it for the school day. We are planning on distributing devices the first week of school. We are going to associate the device serial number with your child's school ID. So that way that device is associated with them. They'll use it year after year until the device life is over and they're issued a new one. This was taken from our handbook. It's just some common guidelines for caring for the device, with students bringing the devices back and forth between home and school. This is just some of the common things that you want to keep in mind. Not using harmful chemicals to clean the device or anything like that. Transporting with care, charging with care, things that you typically do with an electronic device. Now, there is an insurance option with students transporting the devices home. You might ask what happens if the device breaks at home or at school, who's liable, what happens. We're going to offer a third-party insurance through Worth Avenue Group, and that is $32.60 for full coverage per year. So there's no deductible. Anything happens to the Chromebook, it's completely covered. If it's totally broken, if it's lost or stolen, it's covered. If you do not choose the insurance, we will handle repairs in district and then just charge you for the parts. So if you don't have insurance and a screen on your child's Chromebook breaks, screens are about $50. We order the screen, we replace it, and you will be charged $50. Here are some common repair costs to keep in mind if you don't have the insurance. The screens are definitely by far the most common. We've heard that from multiple other districts, and it's about $50 to $60 per screen if it breaks. Lost power adapters are between $40 and $45, and the full keyboard base unit is $60 to $70 to replace.
Justin had referenced the technology handbook. There is indeed a technology handbook that the district has written. It includes policies regarding the use of technology. That handbook is going to be available digitally online on our website. So in about a week, the video from this evening's presentation, along with information pertaining to the Technology Integration Initiative, will be on our website for you to access. As part of the registration process in August, families will be asked to sign the signature page that appears at the back of the handbook. That page basically says that you have read the handbook, you are aware of our policies, and you are knowledgeable about that. Now, students, we're not just going to ask for a signature and move on. We recognize that students have to develop some habits on how to use and care for their devices. So PBIS is a behavior systems that we use within our schools. We talk about the behaviors we expect, we do lessons on them, we're constantly reinforcing them, they're throughout. So behaviors relating to technology integration and caring for the device will be implemented into our PBIS structure for next year. Students will, during that first week, get lessons on the things that Justin covered, how to transport it, how to care for it, things like that. And then they will be completing a quiz to demonstrate that they have taken ownership and understanding of this. Once that is passed, they will receive their Chromebook. We're just not doling them out, thinking that everyone knows how to handle them. Okay, so there is a lot that has been going into the planning of this and a lot that we have already done behind the scenes to prepare the district for all teachers and staff to be able to access technology on a daily basis. Some of those things include licensing fees. We talked earlier about personalized learning and how we're purchasing software and applications that will allow us to meet students' needs where they're at. So there are some licensing fees for things like that. There are monitoring applications that we use. There are student usage reports, charging stations. This is going to be key. At the elementary level, we talked about how all of the devices are just kept in the classrooms. They will be kept in charging stations so that at the end of the day, they'll be put away to charge so they're ready to go the next day. Now, secondary students are going to be asked to come to school with a charged device. It's a tool. It could be used every day. It may not be used some days. It may be used in one class and not another, but they need to be ready to go. It's just like coming to class prepared, ready to learn. However, we recognize that some of our secondary students may not come to school with them charged. So then what do? We are going to have emergency charging stations at both the middle school and the high school available. Should a student come to school and not have their device charged, they will be able to utilize that during study halls, during lunch, during even class time when they're not using it, so that will be available. Online applications, online textbooks. We are purchasing textbooks. Yes, we are not getting rid of textbooks. It's been a big question that I've received as the director of curriculum. When the school board approved this initiative, I got a lot of calls. Does that mean we're not going to have textbooks anymore? No. It simply means we're having an additional tool. But I will tell you that as we're purchasing textbooks for the following year, we are able to also purchase an online version, for students, so that there's no need to transport that textbook back and forth if they don't have to anymore. It now can be accessed online. We had to increase the bandwidth within district, and we had to have a wireless infrastructure. So, to address that, we have increased the registration fee. For 4K students, that registration fee will increase by $15. For students in K through 12, the fee will increase by $30. Okay, so we can take questions now, but here's my disclaimer. This is uncharted territory for us. We have spent a lot of time trying to think of everything we can to work out the kinks, knowing full well that that's not always going to happen. So as we worked with our staff this year, we really focused on professional development. All of our staff members received their devices this year, and the entire year was spent with professional development hours focused on how do we use technology to capitalize on teaching and learning that occurs within the classroom. So as we've been working through this, there have been tons of questions that have come up that we weren't able to answer on the fly because we didn't know the answers, so we had to get together and work on it. So we're willing to take questions. Know, however, that if you stump us, we're going to ask you to record the question so that we can come together as a group and talk about it before we just answer. Also, how I talked about on the website, there will be the video along with the handbook. There will also be a frequently asked questions section. So, are there any questions right now? Yes?
Who's going to be backing up all these systems?
The Chromebooks? The Chromebooks are primarily web-based, so any work that the kids do on the Chromebooks is going to be saved in the cloud. So if they were to lose their Chromebook, they could just log into another one and they'll have all their homework, all their work. So there's really no need to back any of the data up because it's all internet-based.
Is that at Google or is it here in the district?
That would be it.
So that was my question, where are the servers located?
Okay, yeah, they're the servers.
Are you finding students would beg for their Chromebooks to transport them back and forth?
There's no plan for that at this time.
I just know we did that in our district.
Yes?
If you go with the insurance plan, is there a particular vendor that you have to go to for repairs? And what is lost and stolen?
So it's covered? Go ahead.
Right, yes. Lost and stolen is covered. It's full coverage. And as far as repairs go, I believe the insurance company will have you mail it to them or one of their partners.
Yes. It's my understanding that it's mailed in. The district is purchasing loaners. So there will be a set of loaners available in the libraries at each school, the middle school and the high school. There will not be an unlimited number, but there will be a few of them. Should a student break their Chromebook and has the insurance and it has to be sent in, they can check out a loaner. So the loaners are going to have, let's say, a red cover on them, so teachers know immediately that's the loaner. They will not be able to go home, though. They will only be able to be used at school. And students that forget their Chromebook could also go to the library to use a loaner for the day. However, we're going to work very hard on students remembering to bring their materials with them, including the Chromebook.
Does the insurance cover the charges or is that something we use for breaking?
That's an excellent question. I'm not sure about that. We can check on that.
Stumped us, we'll write it down.
Is that 3265 for the entire year or per unit? So when my boy breaks one, because he will, 3265, then purchase another 3265 for the second unit, and then the third one will be 3265 again.
I believe it's 3265 for the whole year, and that is full.
Can you go into the detail about these monitoring applications? My concern is some of cruising the web.
Sure. We're looking into an application called GoGuardian, and it's basically an internet web filter and also traffic monitoring type application. And that's what we're going to be using to kind of filter the internet on the Chromebooks. It's similar to the in-house filter we have now for regular PCs. Kind of keeps them from going where they shouldn't. So.
Yeah, because I heard there was an acquaintance of mine talked to us, and heard the school district she teaches in, talked to the IT person, and apparently that person has to clean up the Chromebooks every year because there's either porn or other activities that the students have gone to on different websites that have to be cleaned up every year because they have a policy that allows the freedom to explore the web. That's my concern.
Okay. Yeah, we will have an application in place to keep that kind of stuff off of the devices.
And that app is on the devices.
It's an internet-based app. So basically, the Chromebooks are going to be configured through our administrative Google console, and they'll basically be pointed to go through the GoGuardian services. And basically.
Is that proxy available when they use either Wi-Fi at home?
It is. GoGuardian is, yes, since it's web-based, it is available out in districts.
So if she connects to Cisco Wi-Fi at home, as soon as she gets on there, it's going to have that protection system that when she cruises the web.
Is that for everywhere, like,
Yep, that would be anywhere.
Is it a program that, as parents, we can adjust, like if we want it stricter than, say, what the school allows? Is it something like that, or is it just a basic?
It wouldn't be that granular. It'll be managed at the district level, similar to our current filter. It is pretty strict. And if there's a site that maybe you do want blocked, or a site that kind of got through and you think should be blocked, I mean, feel free to contact the IT department, and we'll review it, and we can block it then district-wide.
So it won't have separate levels for different grades. So like anything below 6th grade would have a different blocking or a set of blocking pages than in junior high or high school.
I haven't actually messed around with GoGuardian yet, but if it's configured like our current filter, it's just a blanket filter for all grades.
How do you plan on handling a freshman? Is he going to keep that computer all the way through 4 years? Is it returned at the end of the school year? Are exiting seniors able to buy the computers out?
We will be collecting Chromebooks over the summer, but the serial number does stay tied to the student ID, so they're reissued that exact same Chromebook when they come back in the fall. They will keep them for 4 years, and then we're going to be buying a new batch of Chromebooks, and we'll get issued a new one. As far as seniors buying the Chromebooks, that's probably something we'll have to look into and get back to you on.
They said it's going to be outdated by then.
Yeah.
Are you going to allow, if they have their own Chromebook to bring, or laptop to bring to school, or is it going to be strictly just that we have to use these school ones?
We will allow you to bring your own. Keep in mind that if you do bring your own, it won't have like the filtering application and stuff like that, because it's not district managed.
Teachers planning on setting deadlines for homework where instead of it's due the next day in class, it's due at 11:59 on such and such a day. Are they planning that kind of
I don't
structure?
think we're there yet.
Oh, they're doing that
They
already.
do that.
No, I mean,
No, they are.
overall, some maybe. I don't think overall that is happening. That maybe our teachers are at different levels, just like students are with technology. Is the district telling them to do that? No. Are some maybe setting those guidelines? Perhaps, but that is not throughout.
Are teachers going to be required to put their syllabus online? Because I get, oh yeah, I'm gonna have things posted, and then they're not posted. And with this type of tool, is there going to be mandates that these things need to be done? Because if the kids are required to have homework done at such and such a time outside of the school.
Sure. Yep. I can tell you with Google Classroom that will be more likely. I can tell you that some teachers will be ready to do that next year, and there are others who will not be ready to do that simply because this is a very new way of teaching. And so just like we personalize for our students, we are working with our teachers to move them along and develop professionally to use technology to its fullest. So do I see that coming? Certainly. Do I see it happening throughout next year? No, because there will be some growing pains as part of this process. You know, it's a work in process, and we are learning and growing and developing all the time.
I've got a little background on that. So do you having student teachers help with that? Because the size of the classes that roll through here, the online teachers now that are currently already doing it are struggling to provide feedback for every assignment given.
Are you talking about WVS? Are you talking about the online courses that we're offering?
Just in general.
Okay.
So the teachers that have been doing this for years already, with the size of classrooms that they're handling, are struggling to give the feedback to every pupil and student per assignment. Are the teachers here prepared to do that? Or do they have people helping them with that? Because if they're already struggling and not able to do it, you can't student learn a year out and not provide that feedback, especially with new technology. So I guess that I'm asking a lot of questions here, but I'm already experiencing it myself.
Sure. So is someone assisting the teachers with providing the feedback?
Or looking at the assignments, so they're going to get through all these assignments every day and get feedback online.
Now keep in mind, not every assignment will be established online. We're not strictly, going straight to everything's online. There will still be lots of paper and pencil. There'll still be hands-on projects. There will still be that existing traditional kind of work and interaction that you see. This is just one more tool. So I think that will be happening. Again, individually, teachers may be moving a little quicker, some more than others in that area. So if a concern is certainly the feedback and how timely it is, that is certainly something we can bring to our administration and talk about with our staff.
Do you have a timeline set for everybody to be on the same page moving forward? So you don't have students' expectation in this class is different in this class, and they're trying to learn and get jostled back and forth? Is there any district expectations for the teachers to be on schedule?
The expectation is that technology will be integrated next year as a tool to assist with teaching and learning. Are we saying that it has to be used every single day? No, we're not saying that. Are we encouraging people to set up Google Classroom and use that so there is some consistency? Yes, we are. Our summer professional development is already set up for our teachers to assist them with this. Our in-service at the beginning of next year will also assist with that. But I can tell you, you're not going to see the same expectations with it in every classroom next year.
But what about the year after? I mean, is there a goal where...
That is our goal. Our goal is that technology will be used in every classroom as a tool to increase student engagement and to encourage learning at all times. That is our end goal. Yes.
So essentially, you're not saying in 2 years every class has to have something, it's just something, not the entire class is integrated on.
So I can tell you this year we've started with, so we have BYOC, Build Your Own Curriculum, where teachers are putting their curriculum online that can be accessed. We just had an in-service yesterday, and the task of the in-service was to take a unit that is already existing and integrate technology in such a way that it's serving as a tool to enhance the learning that's taking place. So we are taking our curriculum little by little. We have teachers that have been using technology like this for years. Are they much further ahead than someone who this was their first year having a Chromebook and even thinking about it? Yes. But we are consistently working with our teachers and staff to move ahead to integrate technology into the already existing units.
But sometimes as a student at universities, our instructors going to be able to monitor where they are, because if they got that screen up in front, they're not knowing where they are, if they're cruising away, or if they're paying attention. I think there'll be some kind of tool that the teacher will have in front of him or her to monitor that they're on task or doing the assignments that they're supposed to be doing for this class. Or we're going to say, oh, because I've sat behind students and they're looking at a bug radar site, or they've got their notes up, or they're going to another site and cruising back and forth between tabs.
We're planning on handling that similar to the current computer labs, where basically the teacher is walking around, just kind of monitoring screens around the room. We did look into a couple of applications like that where you kind of have the overview on the teacher's screen. A lot of times it's very expensive, and then you kind of have the teacher glued to the desks, they're watching the screen, making sure kids are going where they're supposed to. A lot of other districts that have tried that we've talked to, are ditching it just because for the cost, it just really isn't worth it. So we're just going to kind of treat the room like we do the computer labs.
I can see a data board, and they've got 2 or 3 different tabs up and they're
Sure.
cruising between
Yeah.
tabs.
And our teachers are aware that that happens now because we have computer labs. And that's all about instructional strategies. So that, that's things like classroom management and proximity and all of those good things. Any other questions?
I just want to say, I think it's not the fact that East Troy is turning into an online school. You guys are just adding this as a tool. It's not turning into an online school.
Okay, well, we thank you for your time. If you have not already had the opportunity, the devices are available in the library that you can spend a little time playing with them. We have members of